I'm glad we got that out of the way. So, Wes and Angie, Wes Ford and Angie have been my friends for longer than I've been in recovery. We have shared a lot of crazy times together, and now our crazy times look like church and board meetings and galas. Wes, I am in awe of watching you grow as a man of God. I was excited when I learned you were coming to the board, and it has allowed me to spend time with Angie now, which is a bonus. So, without further ado, you all, I welcome Wes Ford.
Let's give Misty another round of applause. Good kind of special. Everyone looks amazing tonight. Everyone's looking so fantastic. You've got bright jewelry, sequence dresses shining. But the brightest light I see shining tonight is the light in the eyes of those in recovery. I want to use this night to celebrate recovery and also celebrate the chance we all have to improve. You see, we all have vices. We all have addictions. We may have not struggled with drugs or alcohol, but you may smoke 3 packs a day. You may drink too much soda pop. Some may be addicted to pornography. Addictions come in all forms, folks. But we all can take a step in the right direction to get to a better version of ourselves. We can take a long look in the mirror and think about what can we do to improve ourselves? What will get us to a better version? Get us to a place where we have somewhat improved, where we can reach back and help someone who is where we used to be. No matter the drug of choice, you can break the cycle. There's a lot of testament to that here tonight. A lot of folks that have taken that first step to improvement. The way I was able to improve my life, I just had to find some courage. And that came in the form of encouragement from a lot of special individuals. The Gathering Table, Mercy Road, they provide that step. They provide the step in the right direction. I was getting through this a lot better before she brought up Caleb. I didn't know that history. Caleb was a lifelong friend of mine. We graduated together. So you threw a wrench in my speech. Okay. But so I've looked at recovery a lot like a ladder. You don't want to start out climbing on a rickety old ladder with broken rungs. So as this ladder's here, to a ladder of hope. It's a ladder of hope that you can get to a better version of yourself, that you can get to a more improved version of your life. By you all supporting this gala tonight, by your contributions, just supporting your family members that may have a struggle, that makes the rungs of that ladder solid, strong, sturdy. And that's what Mercy Road does for so many, and the programs that the Gathering Table Ministry provides. It makes it a lot easier to climb that ladder. So I want to give you guys a big thank you for everything you're doing tonight and everything you do in your life to support your loved ones through whatever addiction it may be. I got to thank God first and foremost for giving me the strength to get up here. There is a lot of shame associated with addiction. So that it takes some courage to get through that, and I'm glad that I have the strength now to do that. I want to thank God and Angie for being so patient with me. God has been very, very patient with me. So, as Misty spoke about, I was asked to be on the board of the Gathering Table Ministry. I didn't really know what it was, but I knew there was a lot of faith-based people there, and they were doing special stuff for a lot of people. So I didn't know what I had to offer, but I told them I was in for whatever. So I'm a member of the Gathering Board, or excuse me, I'm a board member of the Gathering Table. I'm a father, business owner, and a follower of Jesus Christ. That's who I am now. 5.5 years ago, and 12 days. That's not who I was at all. You would probably found me over in the drinking section of the club here, or whatever tavern you wanted to chase me down at. That's where I would have been. I definitely was not who I am today. At that point, I'd been drinking for 20 years. I was a hellraiser. I was a workaholic. I did everything possible in my life, the opposite of improvement. I did everything destructive to my life and those around me. But by the grace of God and encouragement, I get the chance to improve, and we all can get the chance to improve. Jim Rohn was a motivational speaker in the 90s. He talks about, you got to break it down real simple for me because I'm a simple guy. You got to hit me in the head with the facts. He said, we're human beings. We're not geese. We don't have to wake up in the wintertime and fly south. We get to make the decision that in what direction we're going to go. And I was headed south for a lot of years, going down a horrible path. But I'm blessed that I get the chance to improve and turn my life around and go in the right direction and follow God. The addiction I had, a lot of people didn't think I had a problem. Like, they'll see stuff that Mercy Road posts on social media, and they're like, why are you speaking? You didn't have a problem. Well, like I said, a lot of the problems we all have they seem acceptable in culture now. Like it's okay. And like I was, you were just a weekend wild man and liked to party, and I did a lot of it, and I was good at it. But I let that carry over every day of my life. I drank every single day. At one point, I was up to drinking a 30-pack a day. But I always had a real strong work ethic. So I tried to justify my drinking habit by, I'm just working hard, I'm relaxing. And again, it's acceptable. It's how you celebrate. It's how you mourn. It's you're going to the football game, ice the beer down, whatever. But for me, it was a problem. It became all I thought about, all I worried about other than work. It was like, anybody seen the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, where it's the same day over and over and over? That's what my life was. I would wake up hungover, miserable, feeling terrible, run and grab the most disgusting fast food I could find, shove it down my throat, make sure the beer was iced down, work my tail off, and then get blasted, get wasted, get completely blackout drunk. It was that way over and over and over, and I couldn't figure out why my life wasn't improving, why I wasn't achieving the things I thought I should have. Well, it was insanity by definition. Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result, it was insane. It was insanity. But throughout my life, God showed up many times, and I just ignored it. I was really good at ignoring God. There was plenty of lights that should have blinded me into seeing the path my life was going down and seeing the need to follow Jesus, but I ignored it. One of the major lights, there were police lights, there were ambulance lights, there was a lot of lights that should have led me down the right path, should have woke me up. But I had been to Iowa. I run with motorcycle clubs. I did all the things, all the stuff you hear about, the bad things. Coming home, hungover, a car pulls out in front of me, and I smash my head running about 50 miles an hour, head first. Bike goes down into the side of the car. It rung my bell really bad. I was loopy a little bit, but they told me at the hospital I was fine. So I just went back to work, went back to drinking, same Groundhog Day over and over again. Until it was about 10 days after the crash that I couldn't short-term memory wasn't there. I was completely fatigued. I mean, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I would go into these fits of rage. Had a lot of these weird symptoms, and finally a customer talked me into, you ought to go get that checked out, get a second opinion on that wreck, So I go out to Carroll County Memorial Hospital. Tim Reed, he had a background in sports medicine, so I thought maybe I had a concussion. Well, when he walked in, he knew. I mean, I think he knew by my pupils and what have you that my bell had been rung bad. He would do the test, follow my finger, and then touch your nose, I couldn't take my finger off of my nose and touch his finger. It really, it should have woke me up. It should have been like, hey man, you need to back off the booze, get this fixed, something's not right, 10 days later. But it didn't. The treatment then was, the symptoms line up exactly with depression. So how you treated it was with antidepressants. So after trying 4 different antidepressants, again, I wasn't smart enough to stop my drinking habit. I found one that didn't make me hallucinate or have suicidal thoughts like the first 3. So I stayed with that antidepressant. So we're mixing a cocktail of antidepressants and upwards of a 30-pack of beer a day or a bottle of whiskey, whatever it was. Just kept going. That Groundhog Day, just another thing. In 2016, my son Max was born. Again, you'd have thought, hey, time to back off the drinking and do the right thing, but I didn't. The real light, it's weird to talk about a light blinding you so that you can see. But March 24th, 2018, I had been to a birthday party and got completely belligerent, blackout drunk. Last thing I remember was eating birthday cake by the handfuls, like just a complete belligerent slob. Got dumped out in the driveway, and that was not uncommon. That was kind of normal. That I would get dumped in the driveway and crawl my way in, whether I drove home or been dropped off. A lot of times it was tough making it to the house, and Angie can tell you plenty of stories about that. She would try to get me in. Hey, sit down, get to the table. I got some food for you. Don't pick up Max yet till you eat. You know, she knew I'd pass out over the plate and not injure myself or him coming in drunk trying to hold my infant son. Back to the concussion thing. I was tired of taking pills, and I had researched some cognitive help, some alternative stuff to where what was working for people who had had concussions before. One of the things, through some brain scans and research, they saw that if you took some sugars and carbohydrates out of your diet, it would help. So I thought, what the heck, I'll give that a try. And I saw a real improvement on that aspect of things. So I had already given up some sugars and carbohydrates of my diet. After coming home from that birthday party, the Sunday morning coming down, as Johnny Cash talks about, I'm stumbling out of the house, getting ready to ice down the beer to start the work day, and I happened to see the amounts of sugars, amounts of carbohydrates in beer, and I thought, well, for my health, and not because it's a problem, I'm just not going to drink for a day or two, maybe. But that's when Angie had sent me a video she took the night before of Max. He was about 1.5 years, crawling around on what looked to be a dead body, but it was me passed out on the floor. And that was enough. Like, why would I miss my children's life for alcohol, for being a drunkard, you know? So I gave it up. I thought, I'll just not drink this week. I'll cut back a lot. Well, a day turned into 2, a month turned into 6. Before you knew it, I'd been 1 year sober. I hadn't touched alcohol for a solid year, and I felt like an absolute superhero. I thought, man, I need to wear a cape. I had never in my adult life, you see, I was regularly drinking from 14 to 34. So I never in my adult life had ever had clarity for that long. I'd never been sober that long. I hadn't been sober for 30 days straight, much less a year straight. So being sober for 1 year, it brought on all this clarity. Everything seemed so clear and so much simpler and so much easier in life the way this was going. And the clarity brought me closer to the truth. I was able to see things for what they were so much easier. And with the truth, it led me to faith, because everything I'd look into led back to the Bible and the faith aspect of life. Like Jordan Peterson says, the Bible's truer than the truth. It is what the truth is based on. And I was able, throughout that year, to meet a more improved version of myself that I never knew before. And I thought, you know, I'm at this point, like, there's other people that have to feel this way. There's other people that have family members that, like I was, that need just a little bit of encouragement. Because throughout this year, I would get these sprinkles of encouragement from people. Hey, you look different. How you doing? What are you doing? How you feeling? Well, those were those rungs, getting sturdier and sturdier of that ladder of hope, thinking, man, I could probably just live my life sober if I get to the top of this ladder. So I just kept going. And the faith thing just kept being undeniable. It wasn't where I could ignore God anymore. It was in my face every time I turned around. Everything that would happen, I could tell you a story. We don't have time for it, but Well, the best one is when Max starts bringing home from his faith-based daycare at Guardian Angel at the Methodist Church. He would bring home stories, biblical stories, and he was so enthusiastic about it. The main one was the road to Damascus. For those of you who don't know, it's a story of Saul's conversion to Paul. Saul was he was so jealous of Jesus and his teachings. He persecuted Christians. He hunted them out, murdered them. He got permission from the elders to go to Damascus because he'd heard some Christians were hiding out there. On the way to Damascus, he gets blinded by a light from the sky. While he's blind, Jesus speaks to him, and he wants to know why he keeps pushing him away, why he won't follow him, why he won't improve his life and accept Christianity. Long story short, he regains his sight 3 days later. He converts to the Apostle Paul. He spends the rest of his days spreading the good news of Jesus Christ and how we all can improve. So this analogy of Saul's conversion to Paul, when Max brought that home and we went through that, it was like, oh man, that's my life. You know, Saul was a dark dude, not headed down the right path, and neither was I. But we have a God that he's a very forgiving God. And no matter how many seasons you have to go through, he knows the right time, and he's going to give you all the means of encouragement and everything you need, especially with places like Mercy Road. He's going to provide you the path, provide you the rungs to get up that ladder of sobriety or whatever addiction you're facing. He's going to allow you to improve your life. And you can, for me, it's one filled with clarity and sobriety and truth and faith. I don't want anyone to think I'm up here preaching about perfection or that I've reached perfection, or Angie's the only one in here who thinks I'm perfect. It's taken a long time to get to that point. But I want to share some scripture. I'm going to round it out with a letter from Paul to the Philippians, chapter 3, verse 12 through 14. This is called pressing toward the goal. I don't mean to say that I've already achieved these things or that I've already reached perfection, but I press on to possess that perfection for which Jesus Christ first possessed me. No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which God, through Jesus Christ, is calling us. And I think that sums it up pretty good of what I'm trying to express tonight to you guys. Thanks for listening.